Hey, and welcome to That Wrought Life. Today we're going to ask everyone's favorite sublimation question, and that is, what do I need to get started with sublimation? Let's do this. Okay, because I'm in a few sublimation groups on social media, I see this question get asked a lot. We've got crafters that have been cutting vinyl and cutting heat transfer vinyl and wanting to get started in sublimation, but maybe not know exactly what they need. Well, that's what this video is all about. Just some background information. I will try to put what I'm talking about on the screen. I'm going to try to remember. I'll put it on the screen and I'll put it in the description box below. But let's get started. And I'm going to break it up into a few different categories, starting with things you may already have, things you need right now to get started, and then some things that you can get a day or two later. You may not need right away, but might be good to have. We good? Part one, things you will most likely already have. And that would be this guy, a laptop, an iPad, or something. I have a friend who sends sublimation images to her printer through her iPad. I use a laptop. Use whatever you have. The other would be software. I don't want to elaborate on this a lot because there are different types of software that will do the job. Personally, I use Silhouette Studio. Some people use Inkscape. Some people use Photoshop. Some people use Design Space. No matter how you look at it, you're going to need some software, some kind of software. Whatever you decide to use is up to you. Next thing would be a heat press. You can see mine over there. There's my heat press. And you're going to need a heat press. It's pretty simple. Now, what type you use is up to you. I have a clamshell, a 15 by 15 clamshell. Some people use a swing away. I've seen some people talk about an easy press. I don't know how well that'll work for sublimation. I'm a big fan of the standard heat press. You're going to need it. So that's category one, things you may already have. And I like that because if you're watching this video and you're like, I want to do sublimation, and you know, you're going through my little checklist and you're like, I already have the first three things. It's kind of like a high five to myself. It's like, yay, I can get started. All right. Now that we've been silly, let's move on. Next thing you're going to need is a printer. Okay, this is the one I have, and this is the Epson Workforce 7710. There it is right there. And I just want to show you really quick, and then we'll switch the camera back. Okay, that's what my printer looks like. It is a standard printer. It's nothing special. What I do want to elaborate about this printer, what I like about it is wide format. And I do want to talk about why I like the wide format. Those of you who have been cutting and cutting vinyl, you know that we cut on a mat and it's 12 by 24. And if you're cutting vinyl on a shirt that's maybe a 2X or a 3X or a 4X, and you want to make your image, you know, you can make your image a little wider. When we're cutting vinyl, you can take it and turn it this way, and you can make your image 12 inches wide and, you know, 11 inches tall. With the wide format, I print up to 13 by 19, so I'm not limited. I feel like with the wide format, I can print larger images that would look great on the larger shirts. So, whatever printer you decide is up to you. Again, ask questions in these groups, be a part of these groups, ask people what printers they use, ask what works, but then one of the first things you're going to buy is the printer. Besides the printer, you're going to need sublimation ink. Printers like this off the market, you know, they come with standard inkjet ink or whatever you call it. You're going to have to buy the sublimation ink. Now mine, I'll show you my ink system. When I bought this printer, it was already converted. It already had sublimation ink. The system that's in it is a CISS. It's called a continuous ink supply system. Now I've heard a lot of buzzwords. I hear EcoTank a lot. I don't have an Eco Tank. I have a Workforce 7710 and I have a CISS. This is what my ink system looks like right here. That's where I fill it, and it runs into the cartridges. So I refill my ink over here on the side. So that's what I use. That's definitely doable. You can find a continuous ink supply system, or you can use the Eco Tank. I don't know anything about the Eco Tank. I don't know anything about turning it into a sublimation printer. Mine was already done when I bought it. But there are plenty of YouTube videos out there that would answer that question. This video is about what you need, and what you need is the printer and sublimation ink. The next thing you're going to need is sublimation paper. This stuff. You can find it on Amazon. That's really, I don't really have to elaborate much on this, just that you can order on Amazon. That's where this came from. This is A-Sub. What I'm using right now is not A-Sub, but I love these boxes because it keeps my paper from bending. So I may buy from another supplier and put it in these boxes. It's a win-win. Okay, so that was part 1 and part 2. Part 2 was the printer and the ink and the paper. Next, stuff you're gonna need, but you can give yourself a minute. You are gonna want it, you need it. But you can kind of take your time, and that would be blanks and shirts, and or shirts. I want to talk about shirts real quick. I'm not going to elaborate. We're gonna make that a whole nother video, because sublimating on shirts is a hot topic, and there's different material content that you need to look at, and I'll do another video. We talk about what shirts will sub best on and where to find them and all that. So I do not want to elaborate. That's all I want to say about shirts. The other kind of stuff would be sublimation blanks. I'll give you some examples. Luggage tags, keychains, felt air fresheners. You can sub on these, FYI. It's just felt. But anyway, mouse pads, car tags. Make sure they're, made for sublimation. All of these, make sure they're made for sublimation. Car coasters. These are just ideas. This is stuff I had, laying around. I want to talk about where to purchase these. There are different vendors out there on the internet. I'm going to drop the link and put it on the screen. Put it on the screen right here. One of my favorites to order from is Conde, C-O-N-D-E. I'll write the website on the screen and I'll put it in the description box. What I like about that website is that everything is made for sublimation. Everything. There's no question mark. There's no will this sub or not. Everything you buy from that website is made for sublimation. All right. Now, those are the main things that you're going to need. Now let's talk about the last part, part 4. And that is stuff that you don't need right away, but may help you out. And that would be parchment paper, butcher paper, heat tape, fabric, and a scrap t-shirt. Parchment paper and butcher paper, if you're already cutting vinyl and pressing vinyl, you're already using it. If you already have it, 2 thumbs up. Next would be heat tape. The heat tape, yes, I would get some. You can get them on Amazon. When I'm doing items like this, small items, I use my heat tape. When I don't use my heat tape is when I'm sublimating shirts. You can, I just don't. But anyway, get some heat resistant tape. One of the main things I want to talk about, I gotta get it's in my desk. I gotta find it. Okay, and that is fabric and a scrap t-shirt. And I really want to elaborate on this. When you get your printer and you get it set up, it's a new process, okay? There's a little bit of a learning curve. It's not hard. I promise, it's not hard. But my #1 tip and trick is this stuff right here. Go to Walmart, go to the fabric department, and ask for a 1/4 yard of white polyester fabric. It's cheap. It's cheap. And the yards of fabric, they're like 2 feet long. When you order a 1/4 yard, you think, I'm not getting a lot of fabric. You might not get that a 1/4 yard, but it's going to be that long. That's still a lot of fabric. So what you do is you get your image and print it kind of small and press it on this fabric. Practice. This is practice material. Practice on this fabric until you get the hang of it, or to make sure your colors are right. And then what I want to say about the scrap shirt is when you are sublimating, I've got a scrap shirt right here. This one, it looks right on camera, but it's backwards. I subbed it and I subbed it backwards. And I didn't throw it away. So what you can do is take this scrap shirt and you can press your images. And what's good about that is our printers don't print white. And I print a lot on gray, like a lot on gray. And what this will do is you can look at your image and you can see how it really is going to look on the gray shirt. Yeah, so this one's a mess up. Yeah, I see that? That one's a mess up. And if you have an image that you're unsure how it's going to look, this is an example right here. On my screen, a lot of this was white. And when I press on this scrap shirt, I can see how my image is going to look on a gray shirt. You know, so my first tip would be don't practice on your t-shirts, but if you mess one up, keep it. Keep it, because then that's a blank canvas. If you want to see how something looks, you know, print you a small image. And these, I've been doing this for 3 years, and I have scrap t-shirts in my drawer. So anyway, I think that wraps it up. I hope I haven't talked too long. I hope I've answered all the questions. If I missed anything, leave a comment in the comment section. If you want to see different videos or more videos, leave a comment. Leave any tips. I didn't elaborate on what printer to use or what ink to use. You guys, what works for you, put it in the comments. Share that information with everyone. Anyway, I appreciate it. Appreciate all the love and the views. Like and comment and subscribe to the channel. And I appreciate you guys. Thanks so much. Make sure you like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.